Question from the floor. I can't see Aaron, but I know she's here. Aaron, who do you have for us?
Here, I'm with Bob. He has a question for Ray.
Bob.
Hi, Ray. What I'd like to... Thanks, buddy. What I'd like to know is, at the end of Game 2, when Zetterberg and Malkin fought, why wasn't there any suspensions there? Is that because these two guys are superstars?
No, there is an automatic suspension under the rules, but Coley Campbell has the option of reviewing that and looking at his track record, the score of the game, the reason for it, and he can rescind it. And I tend to agree with that. The rule was put in place where it's 5-1 and Team A sends out their heavyweight to make an example of something. That was the intent of the rule. It wasn't the intent to give a guy like Malkin a game misconduct. I completely agree with Coley in this situation, completely.
Does this rule, Ray, that's a great question, Bob. Sorry for the insults from Scampy. In that situation, do you believe that, you know what, the rule's not working as a rule because it's rescinded more than it's kept, that it should be thrown out and rewritten? Because right now, it's a deterrent against the goons, but all the players who get involved in scraps late in games are all getting rescinded suspensions.
Yeah, I guess it could be adjusted, but in this situation, the officials did their job. I mean, Malkin, you know, instigated it, fought, and...
It wasn't like a real fight. It wasn't Dave Schultz and Stan Jonathan.
Right. And there's probably another reason that Coley rescinded it.
Right.
But, you know...
Common sense.
But a rule...
Common sense isn't that common.
That's right.
Yeah,
just good common
it's
sense.
got to be looked at, as is shoulder-to-head checks, which will be a segment for next season when we have you back. This is Ray's last segment this year on Hardcore Hockey Talk. A big round of applause for Ray Scapinello. Great job. Outstanding work, everybody. Hall of Fame linesman Ray Scapinello. We got him into the Hall of Fame. Now we'll get him into the Broadcasting Hall of Fame as well. Thanks very much, Ray. We're back to wrap things up on Canada's favorite hockey show after this. Welcome back to Hardcore Hockey Talk. Our question of the night was, will there ever be a second team in Toronto? Sean Harris from Toronto says, how will the Maple Leafs let another team survive in Toronto? They were resisting a stir when the team was going to be around 50 miles away in Hamilton, I guess. The concept of a team less than 50 minutes away from the ACC, the Leafs will not want to let the lucrative pie be split up. They are greedy and will not share. Do you agree with that, Ludzik?
They like their pie.
What's that?
They like their pie. They want a whole pie to themselves. No question. I do agree with that.
Yes.
There you go.
Insert joke there. Okay, anyway, trivia time on the program. Here's Aaron.
Thank you, Steve. All right, so tonight's question I asked you, who was the only team to win the Stanley Cup in a Game 7 overtime? The answer, the Detroit Red Wings. They actually did it twice, in 1950 against the Rangers and in 54 against the Canadiens. So congratulations to William Jankowski of Ajax. You have won a Sidney Crosby McFarlane action figure. So that's it for me. I'll be back next week. Now it's back over to you guys.
Pete Babando and Tony Leswick have scored the dream Game 7 overtime. Mum's calling. Next goal wins.
Pete Babando.
Pete Babando and Tony Leswick are the two the guys who scored the two goals she's talking about. And guess who called for a Game 7 overtime in this year's final?
I think the man to my right.
And who's going to score the winning goal?
I can't remember. It was a very small printing.
Sidney Crosby. Under a minute to go. Final thoughts to you, my friend.
I want to say to this gentleman right here, Joe Costa, who runs Mind and Muscle right behind me. He was my trainer in Mississauga around the Ice Dogs, and he trains all the great young athletes. All these guys you see out here are all going to be first rounders in the OHL draft. He runs the greatest off-ice conditioning. Joe, take a bow, big boy.
Take a bow, Joe. Take a bow.
Joe's pretty shy. Believe me, when he's working the guys out, he puts them through their paces. He's the best, this guy right here.
We want to thank everybody. Vito, we're all going to Century Room. When in Toronto, go to Century Room. The Bond Jets, Ball Hockey, OHL Alumni, Mind to Muscle, and the Stragglers. Everybody, thank you for watching Canada's favorite hockey show. We'll see you next week. Enjoy Game 5. Good night, everybody. Good job, Doc. Good job. HHC.